Welcome to English Speaking Way 2.0. I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to help you sound natural in English conversations using powerful small talk questions. Now, let me tell you something honestly. Many learners don't struggle because they don't know English. They struggle because they don't know what to say next. Someone smiles at you. They say, "So, how's it going?" And your brain stops. You feel pressure. You feel awkward. You feel like everyone is watching. That feeling doesn't come from lack of knowledge. It comes from lack of preparation. And today, we fix that. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to start conversations naturally, know what to ask in everyday situations, feel more confident in real interactions, and stop freezing when someone talks to you. Before we begin, take your notebook. Yes, take your notebook and write these questions down, because we are not just listening, we are training. Let's begin with the most important type of small talk, the safe everyday starters. These are the questions you can use almost anywhere, at work, at school, at a party, at a coffee shop, anywhere. The first one is simple. How's your day going? This is one of the most natural conversation starters in English. You use it when you meet someone during the day. It shows interest, it feels friendly, it opens the door. Another very common one is, how was your weekend? This is perfect for Monday mornings or after holidays. It feels natural and relaxed. It allows the other person to share something personal but comfortable. If you haven't seen someone in a while, you can say, "What have you been up to lately?" This question is powerful because it invites a longer answer. It gives the other person space to talk. And when people talk more, conversations flow more easily. In casual situations, you can ask, "Got any plans for tonight?" Notice how natural and relaxed that sounds. It doesn't feel formal. It feels friendly. This works well with coworkers, classmates, or friends. If you're somewhere busy, like a cafe, gym, or office, you can say, "Is it always this busy here?" This connects the conversation to the environment, and that makes it feel natural. You're not randomly asking questions, you're reacting to the moment. If you meet someone in your city, you can ask, "How long have you been living here?" This question works beautifully when you meet someone new. It often leads to stories, and stories build connection. To move slightly deeper, you can ask, "What do you usually do after work?" This shifts the conversation from greeting to lifestyle, and that's how small talk slowly becomes real conversation. Music is always safe. You can say, "What kind of music do you like?" Almost everyone can answer that. And from there, you can respond, "Oh, I like that too." Or, "I've never listened to that." That creates flow. Entertainment is also easy. "Have you seen any good movies recently?" This is useful when you don't know what to say next. It saves you from awkward silence. And finally, one of the strongest everyday questions, what do you like to do in your free time? This question reveals personality. It opens doors. It helps you understand the person better. And when you understand someone better, confidence increases. Now pause for a moment. Look at what you've learned already. You now have multiple ways to start a conversation, keep it alive, move it forward naturally. And we are only warming up, because small talk has levels. So far, we've covered safe everyday starters. Next, we're going to move into professional and work-related small talk. And this is where many learners become too formal or too silent. Let's go deeper. Now imagine something. You're not at a party. You're not with friends. You're at work, or at university, or in a professional setting. This is where many English learners suddenly become very quiet because they're afraid of sounding too casual or too informal. But here's the truth. Professional small talk is not about being complicated. It's about being confident and natural. Let's move into this level. When you meet someone at work, you can say, "What do you do here?" Simple, natural, confident. This question works when you meet someone new in the office or at an event. It opens a professional conversation smoothly. If they answer, you don't stop there. You continue. You can ask, "How did you get into that field?" Now the conversation becomes more interesting. You're not just asking about their job, you're asking about their journey. That's powerful. If you want to go a little deeper, you can say, "What's your favorite part of your job?" This question changes the energy. It becomes positive. People like talking about what they enjoy, and positivity builds connection. If you want balance, you can also ask, "What's the most challenging part?" Now you're showing real curiosity, and that makes you sound mature and confident. In a study setting, you can say, "What are you studying?" Very common, very natural. Then follow it with, "Why did you choose that?" This question makes the conversation personal without being uncomfortable. Now, let's go a little further. If you're in a meeting or project environment, you can ask, "Are you working on anything interesting right now?" This works beautifully in professional spaces. It sounds engaged, it sounds intelligent, and it keeps things flowing. Now, here's something very important. Don't ask questions like an interviewer. Balance it. If someone says, "I work in marketing," you can respond, "Oh, nice, I've always found marketing interesting." Then ask your next question. Conversation is not question after question. It's question, reaction, connection. That's how fluent speakers sound natural. Now let's move into something most learners struggle with, keeping the conversation alive, because starting is easy, continuing is hard. Imagine someone answers your question quickly. Now what? You use bridge phrases. For example, "That's interesting." "Really?" "No way." "That sounds exciting." These small reactions are powerful. They show engagement. And when you show engagement, the other person keeps talking. Let's raise the level one more time. Now imagine you're networking or meeting someone important. Instead of basic questions, you can ask, "What inspired you to start that?" This shows depth. Or, "What's the next goal you're working toward?" This moves the conversation forward. Forward-thinking questions sound confident. They make you stand out. Now pause for a second. Notice what's happening. You're not memorizing random questions. You're building layers. Everyday level, professional level, connection level. And we're not finished yet. Because small talk becomes powerful when you learn how to turn it into real conversation. And that final shift is where most English learners never go. Let's move there. And this is where everything changes. Because small talk is not just about asking questions. It's about turning simple conversation into real connection. Most learners stop too early. They ask one question, they get one answer, and then silence. Confident speakers don't stop there. They stretch the moment. For example, if someone says, "I just came back from Italy," you don't say, "Oh, nice." You say, "What was the highlight of your trip?" Now you've opened a story. Or you can say, "What surprised you the most?" That question creates emotion. Emotion makes conversations memorable. If someone says, "I started learning guitar," you can ask, "What made you want to start?" Now you're exploring motivation, and motivation creates deeper connection. If someone shares a goal, you can say, "What's your next step?" Or, "What's been the biggest challenge so far?" These questions move beyond surface-level small talk. This is where you start sounding confident, mature, comfortable. Now let me give you something extremely important. Small talk has 3 levels. Level 1, safe starters. Level 2, professional curiosity. Level 3, personal connection. You've learned all three, but here's the real secret. Small talk works when you listen, not when you prepare your next sentence in your head. Listen carefully, react naturally, then ask something related. That's how conversations feel effortless. And here's something most people don't realize. You don't need 50 questions in one conversation. You need 2 or 3 used well. Quality is stronger than quantity. Now imagine this. You walk into a room. Instead of standing quietly, instead of checking your phone, you say, "How's your day going?" They answer. You respond. You ask something deeper. The conversation flows. That is confidence. Not big vocabulary, not perfect grammar, just natural curiosity. Today on English Speaking Way, we learned how to start small talk confidently, how to use safe, everyday questions, how to handle professional conversations naturally, how to move into deeper connection-building questions, how to avoid awkward silence, how to react instead of panic. You now have a complete small talk framework. You can use this at work, at school, at networking events, at social gatherings, while traveling, even online. Small talk is not useless. It's the bridge to real conversation. And now you know how to cross that bridge. If you've ever felt shy, awkward, or silent in conversations, that version of you is already changing, because preparation creates confidence, and confidence creates fluency. On English Speaking Way 2.0, we don't just study English, we build real-world speaking power. I'm Sarah, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and never let silence control your confidence again.